All right, we've all found ourselves in this position. Some hot bacon grease splatters, or our burger drips, or even worse, you get some used motor oil on your favorite shirt. What if I told you that there's a way to remove these stains with just 3 ingredients that you probably already have lying around the house, so that you can get your shirts that look like this to look like this? I tested it on 3 different types of fabric: 100% cotton, a 50-50 cotton poly blend, and then 100% polyester. And to really put it to the test, I used 8 of the most common and annoying grease stains and oil stains that you can think of that you usually encounter on a day-to-day basis. So once again, as you can see, our blue one there on the left is 100% cotton. The gray is a 50-50 cotton blend. And then the teal one is 100% polyester. And for the stains, we have butter, melted cheese, olive oil, vegetable oil, bacon grease, burgers, chips, and used motor oil, the worst of the worst. So let's get started. We're going to start off by melting our butter, and then we're going to just apply this in these like 3-inch stain squares, and I'm just basically going to make a palette on all of these shirts that are identical. So we're just going to start off with the butter and then move on to the next stain. And the next stain is some bacon grease that I have saved, and we're going to melt that. And once that's melted, once again, we're going to apply a 3x3 stain roughly on each of the shirts. And then our good old burger that we're all familiar with at family get-togethers, reunions, things like that. Inevitably, we all get some burger grease on our clothes in the summer. A lot of times we just end up throwing those shirts away, but not anymore. And this one's probably the worst of the worst, which is the used motor oil. I change my own oil, and I oftentimes get used motor oil on my clothes. I try to remember to wear clothes that I don't want to ruin, but every once in a while, you'll just get a drop of it somewhere, and it's like, where did that come from? So we're going to test out the used motor oil. And now we're going to dab all of these shirts with a little bit of olive oil. And turn around and do the same thing with some vegetable oil, which is a very common cooking oil that you can often get splattered on you when you do frying and things like that. And then, of course, over the summer, we always get some potato chips on us, don't we? So we're going to crush some of these potato chips into the shirt to get the oils on there. I'm not sure what type of oil the chips uses. It might be a vegetable oil or a canola oil, something like that. It's probably not going to leave a stain that's the easiest to see with the camera, but it is there, and we're going to do our best to get it out. And finally, we got some melted cheese, and I'm just going to kind of dab this on all the shirts and rub those oils from the cheese in there. I think it's pretty gross. I overcooked that cheese. It was only 30 seconds, but that was enough to turn it very crispy. And I'm doing my best to get whatever oils I can on the shirts. So once these stains were applied, I allowed them to sit for 30 full minutes. And while I was waiting for them to set, I decided to take a permanent marker and kind of bisect each of the stains so that they will have a left side and a right side, so that I can apply the stain remover to one side and show you the difference. And once 30 minutes had elapsed, I went ahead and threw them in the washing machine with just some normal detergent that I would use every day. I put the cycle on cool, so it puts a little bit of warm water and then mixes in cold water as it goes. And I just threw them in untreated, no shout, no special tricks or any magic. I just threw them in there to see what the washing machine would do by itself. Once they were done in there, I went ahead and threw them. I can already see that some of the stains are still there, clearly, even though it's wet. And I went ahead and threw them in the dryer on low heat, but we're just going to throw it in there to let the stains set even further to make this job that much harder. So if we take a look right after our first wash, this is what we have. All 4 stains are clearly visible on the 50-50 cotton poly blend. Once we take a look at the 100% cotton, it looks like all 8 stains are there as well. The used motor oil is definitely the most pronounced, but they are all there. Even the chips, the faint one of the chips is still there at the bottom left. And then on the polyester, 100% polyester shirt, all 8 stains are there as well, and they can all be seen. And now we're going to mix up our special ingredients. We have our Dawn dish soap, baking soda, and our 91% isopropyl alcohol. And what I did is I put about 1/3 of a cup of baking soda and just squirted in, 2 tablespoons of Dawn dish soap, something like that. You're just going to mix it in until you start to get a consistency that's kind of like a toothpaste or a creamy peanut butter. And as you can see, I'm just mixing and mixing until I get that consistency. You'll just need to add a little bit more Dawn dish soap as you go and just keep going with a fork and you will get the job done. You will get it to where you want it to be. And it's already starting to get that foamy feeling. You can feel it. It feels like a dense foam. And that's kind of what we're looking for. Once it gets to that, I add a dash of the isopropyl alcohol, mix that in thoroughly. And I just think that as kind of a solvent, I think that helps get in and break up the stains, especially on things like used motor oil, that much better. And now the most tedious part is just applying the stain remover to all of the different areas on all of the shirts. I sped this up for you, the viewer. For your sake, I don't think you want to see me apply this for minutes and minutes on end. This is just a hyper speed time lapse of what I did. Now, what is critical with this stain remover is that you let it sit, in my opinion, for at least 8 to 12 hours, overnight preferably. So do it the night before, sleep on it, and then when you wake up, go ahead and throw it in the washing machine. The longer you let it sit, the better this stuff works. And a huge shout out to the Rough and Tumble Farmhouse YouTube channel for the inspiration of this stain remover. In that video, which I encourage you to check out, and I'll link to it below, she uses just Dawn dish soap and baking soda. And I did try that, and it worked on a lot of stains, actually most of them that I tried it on. However, there are a few stubborn ones that just wouldn't quite come out. And used motor oil happened to be one of those. And when I added just a splash of rubbing alcohol, 90% rubbing alcohol, I'm not sure if it would work with a different one, but that seemed to do all the magic and it removed the stains right away. No problem with that. So huge shout out to her for the inspiration for this. I would have never thought to use these ingredients on my own, but a little experimentation here and there. And I think that this is a far superior stain remover. So once again, we're going to throw these clothes right back in the washing machine. As you can see in there, I have a few other pieces of clothes. I used this stain remover on a few other things, a jacket that I was looking to sell on eBay, other things like that. But all of the clothes go in there with that stain remover, and then my detergent is normal, and I just have this on a cool cycle. Once they are finished, I throw them in the dryer just like I did before, and then let's take a look at the results. And if we take a look at the 100% cotton shirt, we have our butter stain that looks removed, the burger stain, olive oil, and the chips, which were faint to begin with, but they are gone as well. And then working our way up, we have the cheese, vegetable oil, used motor oil, and bacon grease. Looks to work just fine on 100% cotton. Let's switch to the 50-50 cotton poly blend. Once again, we have our butter, burger, olive oil, and chips, and then cheese, vegetable oil, used motor oil, and our bacon. And the right-hand side of all of those marks is gone. So this works on that as well. And finally, polyester, same thing, butter, burger, olive oil, chips, cheese, vegetable oil going up, used motor oil came out perfectly, and then bacon. So once again, let the stain remover sit for at least 12 hours and you won't be disappointed. And I think I know what you're thinking right now. Great. It worked on cotton poly blend and 100% cotton. It worked on blue, gray, and teal. But what about whites? Can you get something like used motor oil out of white clothes? And while I was editing this video, I thought I have to do white clothes. I just have to show that this absolutely does work. So here's a quick time lapse of what I did with a white shirt. I applied used motor oil here and here. I treated the bottom one with Shout, and then I treated the top one with our stain remover, and let's see the results. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I actually put the white shirt through the wash twice. The first time I did not let the homemade ingredients sit on there long enough. I only let it sit for about 60 to 90 minutes, and the stain still came out about 95%. But the next time I treated it and I let it sit for a full 12 hours, after that, the stain is 100% gone. And I'd say that's a win, but I want to hear from you. Are there any grease or oil stains that I missed? Let me know in the comments and I'll test them in a future video. Maybe we can get a garage edition going, something like different types of greases, WD-40, things like that. What do you think? Don't waste your money on expensive stain remover. This DIY version is cheaper, easier to make, and it gets the job done. Try it out and let me know what you think.